Paul Davenport from Boast here, and I've got my buddy Phil Burns from Tech Thursday. How's it going, Phil?
Going very well. How are
Awesome.
you?
I'm having a blast.
Yeah?
So Phil is an A+ host. So I am here as his guest in their podcast studio over at Thin Air Labs. That's the name of this
Yeah,
company.
Thin Air Labs. Yeah.
This is so cool. Not only has he introduced me to the amazing people who are working in his shared co-working space, but I just love the vibes of this whole area.
Yeah.
It's making me wish I wasn't a remote worker so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about this room? I mean, it famously is just a closet.
Yeah.
Um,
You're
That's very
understanding.
hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has it been boiling in you?
I've noticed when I look over, my face does get increasingly red with each
Yeah.
recording, but no, I think we're doing good. It's fortunate that it's pretty brisk outside today. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You can always go and take a
carrying that
break.
with me, take a break, come back. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
it's been necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Well, okay, I'm glad you're putting it to good use because, yeah, we love this podcast room.
Yeah, I love it. So, I mean, I'd love to know a little bit more about like the companies that you share your space with, maybe even some of the like podcasts that get recorded here. Just
Yeah,
tell me a bit about like your mission, what Tech Thursday is accomplishing in the broadest sense, and then also just like what you and the team here are working to build for Calgary.
yeah, totally. So, we started Tech Thursday. I'll give you a bit of the context and history behind Tech
Please.
Thursday, and then sort of talk about where we're at now, current state, and this office because I think it's pretty cool. But the history of Tech Thursday is we actually started this event series Tech Thursday through my role. Previously, I was working at a company here called Neo Financial. So
Yes.
Neo Financial, one of the tech darlings of Canada. I joined pretty early on and kind of joined. Right after they had raised their Series A,
Hmm.
was with them after Series B, and then we raised our Series C, which was something like 100 and something million dollars. We had about 300 employees, and we wanted 800 within 12 months. And so I stepped in to lead a marketing team that we dubbed sort of the talent marketing team,
Yeah.
focused on our employer brand. How do we get more people to want to work for us? And so as part of that strategy, one of the core pillars became events, attending events, sponsoring them, showing up. And we just found in Canada that there was a gap in terms of events that got in front of senior members
Mhm.
of the tech ecosystem, effectively folks that we would want to hire.
Exactly.
Uh, and so there was a lot of hiring fairs or pitch competitions, demo days, things on sort of the former that really focused on junior folks looking for work
Yep.
or founders looking for investment. Nothing that was things that would really entice senior members, people who are actually within these companies grinding and hustling.
Yeah.
So we started Tech Thursday as a way to bring those folks out. Weekly panels that was kind of content that you would get from podcasts in the States, for example,
Mm.
but with people that you could actually build relationships with, hear what they had to say, hear how they had built something in the context of Canadian tech. Um, and with all that in mind, we also knew that no one would want to come to a Neo recruitment event every week. So we stripped our logo off of it, and by force of doing that, um, we were able to get sponsorship. So by the time we were prepping for our Series D, uh, Neo stopped hiring, but the events were revenue positive
Yeah.
if I kind of removed my salary from the budget, from the equation. So, which I don't know if I should have done, but I did that and spun out the company. So it's now been about 2 years that I've been running Tech Thursday full time. We always had Winnipeg and Calgary, but we also launched in Ottawa and Edmonton, kind of mid-sized markets here in Canada. And that brings us to current state. And you might want to queue up a question because I've been talking for so long.
No,
But
that was amazing context. I actually have a few thoughts actually spun
yeah,
out of that. First off, didn't realize how much of like the Neo blood in DNA is all over the place here. We were talking to Sebastian. He's got that background
yeah,
too. And we're big fans of Neo. I think they're clients of ours, or at least used to be. But it is a good model to follow.
totally.
They rocket shipped that business, and
Yeah,
especially in fintech during like a very tough time to be a fintech startup with so much
yeah,
noise and so much in the room. So really cool to hear that. Also, talent marketing. Um,
yeah.
I've heard the term, never seen it actually deployed, or at least, I mean, maybe they took the branding off of things that I've been pulled into for talent marketing, but that's such a good idea, to be
Right.
honest, because again, you need that human expertise. I know we're just throwing AI at the wall like it's spaghetti for a lot of things.
Totally.
You actually need people with a skill set. You actually need the humans who can focus on those things. Doesn't mean that you're not going to use AI to help them like take the minutia out of it and
Right.
everything like that, but getting people, and then also, third point, making it a non-cynical resource too. So, like, sure, when it was branded Neo, you probably couldn't get those sponsors, like you were saying,
Right.
and it probably looked a little bit more like this is a recruitment fair.
Yeah.
Whereas you were providing actual resources. So it wasn't just about getting them to join Neo, which again bore out the Tech Thursday of it all. It was about actually being a resource for the community and
Yeah.
giving these people a platform to engage with you, learn, enhance their skills, and then find a career in the field where they have actually been building that expertise and they
Totally.
can put it to work. So,
Yeah.
yeah, just to kind of like sum up some of what you were saying, hopefully I'm not putting words in your mouth, but that was incredible. So,
Yeah.
what are some of, if you're willing to talk about the success stories that you've had out of Tech Thursday, or maybe just some like highlights since you guys have taken it away and run with it?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Well, launching 2 new markets has been awesome. We also just hired, our first full-time employee, about 3 months ago, Angelica, and,
Angelica,
yeah,
girl.
she's doing a great job
Mhm.
and killing it. So that's been super fun, kinda trying to build this out, and then recently our big focus has been I mean, to kinda go into, like, current state and where we wanna go, um, we really see our role now developing a little bit to not only obviously supporting our sponsors and Boast obviously is one of Tech Thursday's sponsors. How do we get you guys in front of these communities that we've built really strong connections with, and how do we sort of help you guys out? But also how do we support founders and tech companies
Mhm.
grow within
Yeah.
these ecosystems? I think oftentimes similar to what we saw as the gaps in these ecosystems in Canadian tech, there's often a lot of folks who support the ecosystem, but are supporting it from a lens of being a nonprofit and thus being supported by the government
Mhm.
in one way or another. And at some point, you start to lose the incentive, where the incentive should be we have to build more incredible companies
Mhm.
and we have to be creating value for these incredible companies. But it becomes, how do we get butts in seats? How do we continue to like show to the federal government that we're working and you stop, caring about the companies you're supporting? And so for us, we see um, a huge opportunity in really getting to that point where we're supporting the companies in our circle.
Yeah.
Um, and so we see that through our events, both in terms of like creating a sense of community, connectivity, but also exposure as well, and building an audience for some of these
Mhm.
companies who come speak on our panel. But also, there's a huge media angle to what we do. So,
Great.
in this room, for example, we record 2 podcasts. One is your Business is on the Line, which
Yep.
is Canada's #1 business comedy podcast.
More of those. Yeah, yeah.
People come on and sort of pitch silly business ideas, and the hosts make fun of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's really good. And then we also record some snippets for Tech Thursday Live, which is where we
Yeah.
publish our live events, and then we also write newsletters that are super localized. So the
Mhm.
Calgary Tech newsletter, Winnipeg Tech newsletter, Edmonton and Ottawa, and those go out to about 13,000 people across all those.
Yeah.
And again, those are highlighting stories, getting folks in front of them. And we're really just trying to follow a new media playbook, which is kind of podcasts, newsletters, events. And I think the best media folks in Calgary, or sorry, in North America and Europe follow that playbook. You look at like Andreessen Horowitz. I mean, to a certain
Absolutely.
extent, Boast is doing this,
Top
but
model. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Harry Stebbings, I love Molly O'Shea, like so many folks, and so if we can kind of play that play in that space, but instead of going to sort of a global audience, hyper niching down into local and creating a real sense of community, that's kind of our goal and growth mission.
I love that. That's why there's so much simpatico between what you guys are doing and what we're trying to do at Boast too,
Yeah,
because to your point about getting hyper local, so you can actually be effective and actually be a like valuable resource to the people who are at every stage of their business trying to make sure that they're tapping into the resources that they
totally.
have available to them because it's a lot of knowledge share. And Boast is a North American brand. We serve all 50 states in the US, all the provinces of Canada. We want to go bigger too, but at the same time, we're most effective because when we can get into those local conversations and when we
Right.
can work with folks like you who get us into the room with these founders who at the local level might be missing out on R&D tax credits or might be missing out on a funding angle that can actually give them lift to drive global change. Sounds jargony, sounds cliche, but I mean, it's very true. Your team gives us the ability to get into rooms that we wouldn't get into on our own.
Yeah.
And I also love that you named all of those examples too, about like that kind of content-driven approach to getting this all done,
Right,
because those are all non-cynical,
right,
deliverables. They're literally just bringing resources. Sure, it's come work with us, or Anderson might want to invest in a company that they see who comes to all of this. There's going to be give and take. There's going to be support in a financial way that will be actually sales, but that's not the primary intent or the
right,
defining intent. It really is lifting all shifts by getting into those harbors, getting into those communities, and really
totally.
making it known what is available and delivering it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we often talk about ourselves as not like the biggest audience, not the loudest, but the most integrated in our
Yeah.
markets. So, you certainly that claim might not be true in some of those newer markets that we just launched, um, but we really do have, I think, a great relationship with a lot of the founders and folks who work in tech. And so continuing to build those relationships is really important to us, and working with sponsors who understand that and also understand the long-term view of these ecosystems.
Yeah.
And just to talk a little bit more about that and kind of who shares this space as well with us is, um, to us, it's a lot of folks who we think are building really remarkable companies,
Hmm.
and so often the dotted line is to Neo Financial.
Yeah.
In a sense, or actually before that is even to Skip the Dishes, which is a Winnipeg company, started in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, sold in 2016 to Just Eat Takeaway for $200 million.
Hmm.
Um, Through that spun out a company called Pivot.
Oh, yeah.
Those founders went everywhere, but then a company called Harvest Venture Builders, which started Propera, OneVest, Neo, Walnut, Second Shop. So many companies came out of that.
Yeah.
Um, and then from Neo, you then see Pure Land.
Yep.
In a sense, you see Tech Thursday. Um, and I think there's really a culture that's built around some of those builders who was there at the early stages who now know what it fundamentally takes to build a tech company. I think when especially in Canada, um, there's a narrative around like slow growth, get to where you want to go. Well, fundamentally, if you're building a tech company, you need to go from 0 to 1 billion within 7 years,
Yeah.
7 to 10 years. That's just venture math.
Hmm.
So if you're going to take venture money, that's what you're agreeing to. And like if you really look uh, w- um, at least the prairies, Winnipeg and Calgary, the only company to have done that is Neo Financial
Yeah.
in terms of like actually fundamentally within that strict, 7-year timeline.
Yep.
And so the folks who are coming out of that know what it takes, know how hard you have to push, and I think that's really helpful, kind of a knowledge gap that will start to accelerate this market.
I love it. I mean, I think maybe Shopify gets used and abused as like the Canadian example of like a unicorn, but to your point about Neo kind of being where all of these great ideas have spun out from, that is a perfect model. Like
Right,
Neo, they understood the like complementary solutions that they could add on to their core fintech. They listen to their customers. And to your point, they scout the best talent. So they know they set a good example that others should follow.
right,
So it's a playbook to rip from, honestly. And
totally.
yeah,
Mhm.
we're seeing it. We've talked about it on a lot of these interviews that I've had today with the team here. And I just love to see that there's so much support across the Calgary community. I think that's been the most not surprising thing to me, but
Yeah.
I go to Toronto and I go to Vancouver all the time. I've kind of just flown over the prairies. It's exciting here.
Yeah,
And there's so much going on too. Like I'm going to be swinging by platform after this today. We're doing a bunch of events. Normally when they fly me someplace, it's for a specific conference or something
right.
like that. No, I just need to come to Calgary because there was so much happening here.
Yeah,
So many good people to meet, and I just need to get that exposure. And I
that's
want to
awesome.
make sure Boast is meeting all these people. We got a big team here. We're actually going to be doing a dinner with you guys tonight.
That's right.
Yep, for our manufacturing founders. So, again,
Super cool dinner too.
anyone who follows Boast knows about the shred enhancements, but manufacturing specifically can really benefit from the new capex. So that is included. You can now claim so much more today than before. I won't go on my diatribe, download our webinars or any of the podcasts to learn more about that, but it's going to be a fun dinner. And
Yeah.
that's one of many events that Bose is going to be partaking in this week. But tell me a little bit about the dinner tonight.
Yeah, dinner tonight's what you mentioned is with some manufacturing folks, but
Yeah.
I got connected into, this woman,
Mm,
Mikal Levy, and she's the owner of the restaurant that
mm,
we're in, and she is just really cool. Like she's like working on a script for a feature-length film called A Road Trip to the World's Largest Pierogi. And so I saw that
Sign me up. Yes.
I saw that in her bio, and I was like, "We have to meet just to talk about that movie."
We're gonna be friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we met, we chatted, and then sort of the idea of our dinners that we host regularly came up. And so she's kind of offered to semi-close like her whole restaurant. It's in this restaurant has won sort of interior design awards, and the food is one of the best sort of restaurants across Calgary. And so this is kind of our first dinner that we're doing with Mika and the team at Sidewalk Citizen. But we're super excited to see how it goes.
Yeah.
And the food's going to be remarkable. So it should be great. And I think the audience that we brought together is very unique. Like I know very little about the manufacturing space, so I'm always excited about dinners like that where I can go meet some people.
I love it. Getting in the room with founders, regardless of industry, it's just really fun. I
Yeah.
love picking their brains. And again, I'm not a founder myself, but I speak to a lot of them. We've recorded 105 episodes of the podcast so far at this point.
Wow.
So that's almost 105 founders that we've talked to.
That's amazing.
So I light up at these things. Added bonus, I think I saw bison skewers on the menu.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a true Prairie meal
That's right.
to make sure that I am getting my Calgarian honorary badge this evening. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. The manufacturing space, again, it's why I get excited about Boast, because we're now broadening the kinds of founders we can talk
Yeah,
to. So
totally.
I'm going to be meeting people in this space for the first time myself, and I can't wait to learn more. And again, hopefully delight them by telling them
Yeah.
about the non-dilutive funding that's on the table, but also just engaging with the community and engaging with Boast as a resource, not even just as somebody who is going to be working on your claim. If you have questions about it, come to us, because we're AI and we're shred
Yeah.
experts. We are the human experts. Our AI just helps us work harder. It helps our experts be smarter and more efficient, but it's not doing the work for them. So hopefully we can be a resource to these founders, just like Tech Thursday has been so far. And and again, I want to come back to Calgary. It's only been about 24 hours, but I'm already like,
I'm surprised you love it so much based on how much time you spent in this room. This room is not that pretty, but it is also so hot in here.
It's getting hot. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm getting a little shiny, I'm noticing. Not that I'm looking at myself. But it's funny, actually. I'm still on East Coast time, and you probably saw that I was emailing you guys at like 5 a.m. today. So I actually did a very long walk this morning. There was like no one on the streets. It was very cold, but Calgary's beautiful. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
it's a cool downtown. Like, it's very different than Boston, obviously. I think I've been making a lot of like one-to-one comparisons in the
Right.
conversations I've had today, just because we're both tech hubs, and it's like,
Right.
but I'm enjoying it. I'm
Yeah.
liking it. I'm like, I just see even the storefronts, all the different kinds of just like, even if you're not in tech, there's a lot of art going on here. There's
Yeah.
just it's a lot happening. There's a lot being built. So you can tell big things are happening here.
Totally.
And I'm glad that we're able to, again, partner with the community on an actionable level,
Yeah.
not just rinsing, repeating our resources, actually getting to the heart of the problems, meeting people where they're at in the sectors they're at, and delivering for them,
Yeah.
just like you guys have been.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been a ton of fun to partner with you guys, and you guys have been great partners. So
I hope so.
yeah, it's great to have you in Cowtown.
I love in Cowtown. Okay, yeah. I need to think of I have one more podcast interview. I think I've abused Stampede at this
As
point in terms of-
references.
as references. So Cowtown, I did go on the wiki and saw that this morning. But
People do actually use Cowtown.
yeah, I like that one. I'm like,
yeah.
that's good.
You're talking about boots. People love their cowboy boots here.
Aren't pancakes a thing? Or did I imagine that? I feel like we've talked about
Yeah,
that in
pancake
calls
breakfast
before.
is a
Yeah,
big thing.
Mhm.
And yeah, my friend Niall, who's coming in, we actually run a nonprofit together. And we have an upcoming Stampede event. So
Oh,
you should
wow.
ask him about that.
Absolutely.
It's called every year we've hosted it. We've sort of added. So first year was our first rodeo.
Mhm.
Second year, our second rodeo, and this year will be our third rodeo.
Yeah.
And so it's just a ton of fun. It's really
That's
just a
awesome.
party, but raises money now for local kids sports. So
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah. So he'll have a lot to talk about around the Stampede, and he's a big fan. So feel free to ask him about that.
Absolutely. That's like cherry on the sundae when a founder, it's not just about the tech you're building, it's the community at large.
Totally.
And that is so cool. All right, buckle up, Niall. I got some.
That's right.
But Phil, this has been a total
Of
pleasure.
course. Thanks for having me on.